Welcome to MPUNGWE-PUNGWE YouTube channel. Subscribe for you to enjoy more of our videos anytime we upload.
Honourable members and colleagues from Nico Asset Managers, I'd like to welcome you. For the sake of this discussion, we'll call you the controlling officer. You're one of the distinguished sons of this great nation, and feel free, this is your parliament. We're just looking forward to get more information that is going to help us inform the nation, especially parliament, which is full of representatives from different constituencies of this country. So we just want you to be free and help your committee with relevant information. We'll proceed in this manner because others may not know you. I do, because I know I attended your wedding. But we'll proceed in this way, that members from this side are going to introduce themselves. We'll give you time that you introduce yourself. We'll, at the same time, give a space to media that they introduce themselves so that we get to know who is in this room. And at the same time, to know what is going in the public space. We also give a chance to our secretariat to introduce themselves. But knowing the nature of this engagement, that it has generated national interest, will allow you to take an oath so that whatever you're going to speak before this committee is under oath. So at this point, allow me to ask members to introduce themselves. When we're done, then you take an oath, then we'll proceed in that way. Other members, can we start from my far right?
Chair, my name is Irene Mambala, Member of Parliament for Balaka Mulunguzi.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Pisiani Banet Nyondo. I represent the great people of Chitipa Central Constituency. Thank you, Chair.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Macpherson Mwaindalama. I'm representing the people of Chiladzulu Nyongwe. Thank you.
Up morning, Chair. My name is Lawrence Chekakalajazia, Lilongwe Chilobe constituency. Thank you.
Chair, good morning. My name is Geoffrey Onseo, MP for Chikwawa North. Thank you.
Chair, good morning. My name is Winston Kamebanjira, Member of Parliament for Lilongwe Chiwamba.
Through you, Chair, this is Eisenhower Mkaka, representing the people of Lilongwe Mpeno.
Thank you. Chair, good morning. This is George Katunga Million, Member of Parliament, Palombe Machemba. Thank you, Chair.
And my name is Best Ben Hawali, Member of Parliament for Zomba City North. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, good morning. My name is Gerard Tasaugadala, representing the people of Blantyre Central constituency. Thank you, Chair, and good morning.
Good morning, Chair and all. My name is Amina Gajia, representing Zomba Sondole.
Good morning, through Chair. My name is Susan Dorsey, Member of Parliament for Chikwawa West. Thank you.
And through Chair, my name is Noel Lipipa, Member of Parliament for Blantyre, Chilomoni, Kabula, and Choli constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. My name is Frederick Amani, Parliament Secretariat.
Through you, Chair, I'm Judith Sikaloka, Parliament Secretariat.
Good morning, Chair. I'm Maura Fiona Matinje, Parliament.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, I'm Nelly Nkata, Parliament Secretariat.
Good morning, Chair. I'm Tulinje Molozi, Member of Parliament for Machingali, and I'm the Vice Chair for Public Accounts. Thank you.
Controlling Officer, my name is Stephen Baba Malondera Kansiamo. I'm an MP for Lilongwe Nyanja constituency, and a chairperson of Public Accounts Committee. Media, can you introduce yourself? Use one mic.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Precious Katema from MPUNGWE-FM.
Morning, Chair. My name is Imon Piringu, a reporter from Zodiac. Thank you.
Morning, Chair. My name is Nshindi Meki from Nation Publications Limited.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Mercy Matonga. I work for Times Group.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Judith Ogan. I work for Lunta TV.
Controlling Officer, over to you. You can introduce yourself and give space to your colleagues to do self-introduction as well. Over to you, Controlling Officer.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and good morning all members of this committee. My name is Daniel Dunga. I serve as the CEO for Nico Asset Managers Limited, which is part of the Nico Group. I have 3 of my colleagues, and I would like them to introduce themselves too, starting from my left.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Chikondi Gomani. I am the Head of Investment Management at Nico Asset Managers. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman, and good morning, all members. My name is Memory Chipembere. I am the Head of Legal and Compliance and the Company Secretary for Nico Asset Managers. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and all honorable members. My name is Paul John Moju. I'm the Head of Investment Planning and Alternative Investment at Nico Asset Managers.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. Now that we know who is in this room, I would like to ask Secretariat to help you take an oath. Controlling Officer, if you feel that you're going to respond to all the questions just by you, then you're only going to take an oath. But if you feel that at any level you may need assistance from your colleagues, you're free to give them a chance also to take an oath. That will be the way we're going to proceed. In the event that anyone didn't take an oath, but along the way you feel that no, this colleague can take it, then we'll administer an oath before uttering any sentiments in this room. So maybe you decide, but you can proceed to take an oath, Controlling Officer.
I, Daniel Dunga, do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I, Memory Chipembere, do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I, Chikondi Gomani, do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I, Paul John Moju, do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. Thank you so much, Secretariat, for administering the oath. To begin with, I would like to personally thank you on behalf of the committee. Also to appreciate your showing up on the invitation, upon the invitation that we had sent to you. This is in relation to a public inquiry into the purchase of Amaris Hotel by the Public Service Pension Trust Fund. As a committee, we were mandated to conduct this inquiry. Controlling Officer, you may wish to take note that honor members seated to my right are here under the mandate of the Constitution, because the Constitution gives them 3 roles: legislation, representation, and oversight. What we are basically doing here is to provide an oversight role as Parliament. And you may wish to take note that a Public Accounts Committee has powers in pursuant to Standing Order 151. The Public Accounts Committee, like any other committees of the House, has several powers. I'll just read 2: to summon or subpoena any person to attend and give evidence before a committee at a stated time and place, like what we're doing, because the letter actually specified that you're supposed to come to Parliament. Another power of the committee is to require any person to disclose and produce to the committee any papers and records in the person's control, possession, and custody relevant to the committee's proceedings. So as Nico asset managers, you have documents and the information that this committee is looking forward to officially get from you. I want to put it on record that as a Parliament, we are getting a lot of information, unofficial information, and official information, and the patriotic Malawians are giving us so many documents. And as Parliament, we have so many documents. But we want to give all key stakeholders in this transaction to present to the committee what they deem relevant. I want to put it on record again that this discussion is live. I don't want, after this, people said, oh, we're not told and whatnot, but this discussion is live, and all your responses are being, will be monitored elsewhere. And going forward, as you're responding, you switch on your mic, because the discussion is being recorded as well by Parliament. So anytime you're responding, we expect you to switch on the mic. When you're done, you switch off. Like I've indicated that the members are from different constituencies. They're playing a representative role. You may happen to know other members by name, but they're here not as individuals, like Noel Lipipa is not here as Noel Lipipa. He's here as Blantyre Chiromoni Kabula constituency. So when you're responding, you indicate that as per Blantyre Chiromoni Kabula, and you proceed in that way. Members will not just switch on the mic. I'll give them the floor so that we control the proceedings in a better way. So be assured that this is a safe environment, and anything that you feel that no, this we can't respond, you're free to do so. But as Public Accounts Committee, we'll find a way of getting relevant information. So with these remarks, controlling officer, I want you to be very free, and we'll give you a chance to explain and to give your presentation. You may give us maybe a synopsis of Nico asset managers so that you settle, then get into the substantive issues. Over to you, controlling officer.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, and good morning once again, and good morning to all the honorable members. So, I lead the team from Nico Asset Managers, and we will obviously talk in general terms about our business, but I'm aware that we're here specifically for the inquiry that you are conducting on the transaction involving the purchase of Amaritz Hotel by the Public Service Pension Fund Trust. So we will really try to contain our remarks on the transaction. But before we go there, I think a good introduction of who we are would help. So we are Nico Asset Managers. We are the largest investment manager in Malawi. We are part of the Nico Group, and Nico Group is the largest financial services group in Malawi. As you are all aware, Nico started off way back in 1971 as National Insurance Company. So then the N in Nico is national. And we are very, very responsible and proud of that badge, that we serve the national interest. And we take our national interest and our public role very, very seriously. The core values of Nico include integrity, professionalism, and we take those things very, very seriously as well, especially in as far as serving the public interest and serving the nation is concerned. One of our roles, which we also take with serious responsibility, is the management of pension funds. We realize fully what pension money means to a country and to the people, to develop a nation, but also to take care of people once they are out of active employment. And so we do not think that we are just opening and closing transactions. We believe that we're taking care of a nation. We believe we're taking care of people's futures. And we believe that our role in prudent management of pension funds is concerned is something that is really national service. Coming specifically to the subject matter of today, it is really in two parts, but the first part is that although we have a national service, but this is directly talking about funds contributed by public servants. And prudent investment of funds contributed by public servants to us is almost a sacred responsibility. And that is how we approach this responsibility. In summary, Mr. Chairman and honorable members, we are one of the investment managers of the Public Service Pension Trust Fund, together with two other investment managers. We manage about just over 20% of the fund, because that is how it was split and designated, that there's one fund manager that manages about 50%, there's another fund manager that manages about 30%, and we managed 20%. In our value proposition to this client, we made it clear that Nico has unparalleled strength in infrastructure projects. Mr. Chairman, you might be aware that Nico's investments include the first and the second shopping malls in Malawi, includes the tallest building in Malawi so far, includes the first hotel in a golf course that is under construction at the Lilongwe golf course, and many other infrastructure, especially in the office park space in Blantyre and Lilongwe. A lot of the buildings that you see are in the Nico portfolio. So our value proposition to this client was that we will focus on infrastructure investment projects, while maybe the other investment managers might be focusing on their various strengths as well. So on this transaction, because of that portfolio that we manage, around May 2023, we were approached by an investment advisor that was representing Yusuf Investments Limited, who were the owners of Amaryllis Hotel. And I must be clear that this approach was to other investment managers, including ourselves. But when we saw the opportunity, being in the space that we play very well, infrastructure, and we were already in the motions of constructing the Lilongwe Hotel, we felt that this is something that we could look at closely, and hopefully that it could offer value to a very important pension fund. So we worked on the transaction.
Proceed, controlling officer. You're okay.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe I may guide. I forgot on that one. In the event that any member wants an assistance, even in your case, you can just raise maybe a paper or whatever, so you'll be attended to. So you don't have to be interrupted when you see a hand up. Don't mind. Up until I ask you to do so. Otherwise, such things happen. So you may consider to proceed, controlling officer.
Thank you, Chair, Honorable Chair. So this involvement in this transaction commenced on the 2nd of May by that invitation from Cedar Capital Limited, representing Yusuf Investments Limited, making an offer to an opportunity to procure 100% of Amaryllis Hotel. I must be quick to mention that we involved ourselves in the transaction up to the 19th of December, when we advised our client that we believe that we should not proceed with the transaction anymore because it may not serve the best interests of the members, because of some critical information that we needed for us to proceed.
Controlling officer, you've talked of 19th December. Is it the same 2023, 2024, yes. 2025?
2023.
All right. So please kindly qualify going forward so that the timelines are clear to everyone. Over to you, controlling officer.
Thank you, Chair. I apologize if I didn't mention the year. So 2nd of May 2023 to 19th December 2023. So in a space...
My apologies. Can you retake the events on the 19th December 2023? The members want to hear about the reasons. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Chair. That's where I'm going. So let me just start again. Specifically to this transaction, our involvement commenced on the 2nd of May 2023. And we exited the transaction on the 19th of December 2023. We have shared a pack of documentation with the members. I will mention here, Mr. Chairman, that within those 6 to 7 months period, there was a lot of work that was done. There was a lot of documentation that was exchanged between us, our client, and a number of service providers. And some of the information we've shared here, we felt that those were the critical documents that you might need. But if anything comes out of this meeting that requires a document that has not been shared, Mr. Chairman, I would like you to know that we are available to share any other documents that this committee might require. I also would like to mention, Mr. Chairman, that our invitation to come here to this committee only came yesterday at about 10 o'clock. So we could have prepared this pack better, we could have labeled it, we could have numbered it, but we didn't have the time. So maybe I'll be saying, please go to page one, go to the first page, but I would like to just go to the very first document in the pack, which is in front of you. It is the invitation or an offer letter for Amaryllis Hotel. It is by the transaction advisor, Cedar Capital. And in summary, it describes the investment opportunity, that it's a 100% acquisition, and the price range was between 47 billion to 48.7 billion using various valuation methods that were done by them. On the second page of that document, second paragraph, it says we consider a value between 47 billion low to 48.7 billion high to be reasonable for 100% of Amaryllis equity as at 31 March 2023. The summary of documents in between are that we arranged an investment committee meeting with our client where this investment opportunity was pitched. And later on, we asked our client to express a written interest whether they were interested in us pursuing this opportunity further. And our client told us to proceed, and we gave them the approach. In that approach, we recommended that we should have 2 property valuations because largely this was a property transaction, although we were aware that in the property there would be a hotel business. But our advice included that valuation of the property was a critical component and one valuation would not be sufficient, so we needed to get 2, which we received. One from Knight Frank, you can see in the documents, and another one from a company called Garden City. We further went on to recommend that there should be the business valuation, and they approved that we could recruit FDH Bank to provide the business valuation, and FDH did the same work. Based on those 3 valuations, we made a recommendation to our client. I think that document has also been shared, but Chair, allow me to refer to it from from my iPad. This one, they have it. Okay. I'm informed that some documents were shared electronically, so maybe they're not in that pack, but you have them. It's a document entitled Amaryllis Investment Opportunity Review Public Service Pension Trust Fund. Mr. Chairman, if you don't have it handy, I'm sure you will get it at some point, but allow me to proceed.
Kindly proceed. Honour members, there's an electronic copy on the forum, so you can open. Controlling officer, when you see members on their phones, they are not on Facebook or WhatsApp, is to specifically verify what you're talking and the documents that you submitted. You may proceed, controlling officer.
Thank you. So in the document that I've referred to, I'll go to paragraph 3.2, valuation, property valuation. Garden City, total market value 48 billion, replacement cost 78 billion. Knight Frank, property value 50 billion, replacement cost 87 billion. The average market value of the two was 49 billion, and the average replacement cost was 82 billion. 3.4, hotel business equity valuation by FDH Bank. Market valuation, 30 billion. Net assets value valuation, 50 billion. Maybe for the benefit of members, I can just clarify the difference between those two. Net assets value, it simply means the value of the tangible assets that are in the business, the hotel itself, the equipment, and whatever else can be touched, 50 billion. But market value is the money that the business can generate. If you take money that will be made in the future, but put it in today's value, 30 billion. So one is what the business can make, the other one is what the business owns. But then FDH recommended, gave an opinion of midpoint of 30 billion. We provided an investment analysis to our client. I'll go to section 4.3, where we said these are the valuations, but comparing these valuations to similar businesses, we would look at Sunbird Hotels and Blantyre Hotels. And that table in 4.3 shows the differences between Sunbird Hotels and Amaryllis Hotel. That Sunbird has more than one property. It is in more than a few locations, and it has more number of rooms. But the value at the time was 30 billion for the entire Sunbird. And Blantyre Hotels was 6 billion. So the mention there was to say there's an opportunity cost to investing in Amaryllis, which must be considered. Since these other companies are listed, if there's room to buy those before this, that avenue should be exhausted. Otherwise, if that avenue is not available, at least we are aware of what we are comparing this investment to. We further, in section 6, advise our client to consider key issues to this investment. Number one, that property can be a very good value hedge. So one must not just compare kwacha for kwacha, but must be looking at the type of investment. So you can hedge your value by a property investment. But we went on to say, but this is a specialized property. So it's already built as a hotel, and therefore the fact that this will be running a hotel must be considered. The success of this investment will depend on a successful hotel business being operated. We also advised our client on the liquidity implications of this investment. Liquidity simply means once you lock up this money, when can you see it as cash again in the bank? We were clear that this will be a long-term lockup of your cash, and therefore it's not something that once you change your mind you can just sell. So the investment must be deeply, deeply considered. We also advise the client of the current return, that the return could be lower than other investment opportunities that were available in the market. We advise our client that the business model must be clear. Maybe our client could consider owning the property but is leasing it to a hotel company rather than owning the property and also running the hotel. And finally, we advise our client that there has to be a strong partnership with a very well-known hotel company to run the investment because of the specialized nature of this investment. And we recommended that an engagement with companies like Sunbird Hotels or Umozi at the earliest opportunity to be the strategic partner would help this investment. We also recommended that there has to be a clear exit strategy to say, when do we get out of this so that we have our cash back? Because remember, this is money that must become money again. When people begin to retire, you can't just show them we own the hotel. You need to pay them money. So that needed to be considered. I've already mentioned about the opportunity cost. So in section 7, we had our recommendations. Based on the above, we recommend as follows. 1, that public service pension fund must only consider this investment at the business valuation amount capped at 30 billion. That public service pension trust fund must take no more than 55% in this investment, so that the 45% should be reserved for a hotel company that will have skin in the game to run this hotel company successfully. So recommendation number 3, at least 45% must be held by a hotel company. After this recommendation, our client gave us a board resolution that they had looked at our recommendations and that they had made their decision to proceed. So in this pack, so I really, it's difficult to, because it's not, there are no page numbers, but let me just go to the document and I'll give you the heading of the document so that you can go to it. It is called the 21st, so it's somewhere in the middle. The 21st Ordinary Board of Trustees meeting of the Public Service Pension Trust Fund, resolution on investment in Amaryllis Hotel. I'm sure you've got that document, but I'll not read the whole thing. But the resolution by the board after this recommendation that we made was to acquire 100%. So point number 1, the fund should acquire 100% shareholding in, it says Yusuf Investments Limited, but really it's Amaryllis Hotel. Number 2, that the transaction is in line with the investment strategy of the fund to take a leading role in investing in strategic infrastructure investments, particularly in the hotel industry in Malawi. So our client came back to us to say our strategy is not to own part. Our strategy is to own 100%, and we are not buying one. We are buying several hotel businesses. And we were informed of other hotel investments that were already in motion, and that Amaryllis was just one of them. And that this was in line with the strategy. So with that understanding, we said we are going to pursue this investment on the understanding that this is what you as our client want to do, and that you have given us the mandate to proceed in that manner, which is slightly different from the recommendation that we made. Chair, allow me to skip some of the detail and go straight to December. On the 19th of December, so which is not towards the end, you find a letter, 19th December, from us to our client: purchase of Amaryllis Hotel Limited, way forward. We refer to the above investment opportunity, the transaction in which Public Service Pension Trust Fund intends to acquire 100% of Amaryllis Hotel Limited. You will recall that during the last investment committee meeting, we advised that our internal governance structures were reviewing the above transaction. We write to inform you that the process has been concluded, and we have resolved that in trying to protect the best interest of the fund, Nico Asset Managers should withdraw its recommendation and involvement in the transaction. We would appreciate an opportunity to meet with you to clarify our position. We then had a meeting with our client, and then that meeting was followed up by a letter of January 2024, which was now just to substantiate that letter of 19th December 2023. That letter is immediately after the one that I've just read. It is dated 23rd January 2024. Purchase of Amaryllis Hotel. We refer to the meeting we had with your trustees on 16th of January. In the meeting, we agreed that we will write to you on 2 points. Point number 1, reasons for Nico's withdrawal. It was noted from a review by our internal governance structures that the proposal generally did not receive adequate technical review for a significant investment to provide the required assurance that it is in the best interest of the fund. It was this realization, and in view to safeguard the best interests of the fund, that this decision to withdraw the recommendation has been made. Among other reasons, Nico Asset Managers believes that the investment in a hotel, being a specialized operation, should have included due diligence by a hotel expert as a strategic partner, including the identification of a prospective operator. The absence of an expert due diligence and identification of a strategic partner, as aligned above, exposes the investment to significant operational and financial risks, i.e., how will the hotel be operated post the transaction? In view of the above, Nico Asset Managers believes that proceeding with the recommendation to invest is not in the best interest of the fund. The main reason for the withdrawal was because we had earlier recommended that there must be a strategic partner at least 45%. And the fund made a board resolution to acquire 100%. And we were now going to a critical juncture where a sale and purchase agreement was now being negotiated. But the identification of a hotel expert was still not in place. The prospective operator was still not in place. And it would have meant that we will cross a critical line without benefiting from the most critical inputs in an investment of this nature. Allow me, Mr. Chairman, to just give you an anecdote parallel. Coincidentally, Nico Group is currently involved in the construction of a hotel in the golf course there. And on day 0, we already had identified Marriott to be the advisor and operator of the hotel. We are not building and then finishing and then starting to look for a strategic partner. From the Nico Group experience, that would be too late. You've already committed the money. You need this expert advice along the way. And because we had mentioned this, but we felt that we were still moving forward and we were about to cross a critical juncture, we felt that we could not proceed in those circumstances. So we withdrew. We are not able to know what happened after that. So our knowledge is restricted to up to December 2023. And Mr. Chairman, maybe allow me to stop here and take questions from the honorable members. Thank you.
Honourable members, the controlling officer has explained the involvement of Nico asset managers up until they felt it was important to withdraw from the engagement they had. Honourable members, I would like to ask you to respond to ask the controlling officer areas which you feel you need clarification or the question that you have so that we can proceed. Honourable members, your time. Honourable members, take us.
Chair, well, I would go, but I had not finished because I wanted to go through with the timeline provided by Nico. So I will still go.
Chiromoni, Blanta Chiromoni, yes, you know how we will proceed. Can you switch off your mic? Maybe as Blanta Chiromoni is preparing his question, controlling officer, having submitted the proposal to a pension fund that you're withdrawing and writing to them as the letter that you've shared with us on the 23rd of January. From that point, did the pension fund, a public service pension fund trust, at any point attempt to re-engage you on the same business transaction. Can you take that one before, as members are getting ready for controlling officer? Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So in the pack that I have, that we have given you, we have shared 2 more letters after the letter of 23rd. And one letter is from our client, Public Service Pension Trust Fund, dated 19th of June 2025. It says appointment of Nico Asset Managers to carry out advisory work on the Amaryllis transaction. And the letter says we want to appoint you to come back and conclude the work that you started. But remember, we left in in December 2023. This is now 18 months later. And so we responded by our letter of 21 July 2024, which is also in the pack. And there we have said, I'll go to the second paragraph. As you are aware, through our letters dated 19th December 2023 and 23rd January 2024, Nico Asset Managers Limited advised that following an internal governance review of the Amaryllis transaction, it was resolved that Nico Asset Managers withdraws its recommendation and further involvement in the transaction in the best interest of the fund. The key reasons cited were, 1, for such a significant investment, there was not adequate technical review to provide the required assurance that the investment was in the best interest of the fund. 2, there should have been a due diligence of the transaction by a hotel expert. 3, the absence of such due diligence and identification of a strategic partner exposed the fund to significant operational financial risk. As you are aware, the fund advised through its letter dated 12 February 2024 that due to our withdrawal, all costs associated thereon be borne by Nico Asset Managers. Nico Asset Managers reimbursed all the costs incurred by the fund amounting to 85 million. And this marked the final closure of NAM's involvement in the transaction. The position of NAM has not changed since, and we regret to advise that NAM is not able to accept the appointment to carry out the advisory work on the transaction. Through Chair, I think that was a long answer to a short question, but the answer was yes, there was an attempt and we declined the attempt. Thank you.
Controlling officer, I would like to thank you that you've given sufficient information through documentary evidence that you have. So ideally, you're confirming to the committee that all the money that the pension fund paid to you as a service provider, in your wisdom, you resolved to retain all the money. Is this what the committee is getting from you?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, but I would like to clarify.
Please proceed.
So we were not paid special fees for this transaction because we generally offer investment management advice on the entire portfolio. So that was what we were doing. The 85 million was spent on advisors on the transaction. I will refer you to a document just before that. It's dated 4 June 2024. So just before the last 2 documents. 4 June 2024, Nico Asset Managers writing to public service, and I'll just go to the table to give you the breakdown of the 85 million. FDH Bank for business valuation services was paid 7 million. Knight Frank for property valuation was paid 4 million. Garden City for property valuation was paid 6 million. WM Chira Consultants for structural integrity of the structure was paid 17 million. And Knight and Knight for legal fees was paid 50 million. The total was 85 million. And the Nico Asset Managers was willing to pay back these service providers from its own money so that the fund does not lose a coin because of our withdrawal, such that the only thing that our client would have wasted would be time, but not money. So that there should be no claim to say, we spent this money because of this investment. So by the time we exited the transaction, our client did not lose one tamba. We paid all the service providers from our resources to close and to put to bed this prospective transaction. Thank you.
Controlling officer, allow me to recognize Blantyre Kabula Chiromoni as Blantyre Kabula. Any takers decide? Maybe as you listen to Blantyre Kabula, you may wish to communicate to the committee what actually motivated you to pay back all the money out of your investments and allow pension fund to proceed in its investment plan. So, as you're thinking about that one, Blantyre Kabula.
Chair, it will be slightly longer than you allow me because I wanted to go through the timeline. And I think what Nico has presented here is much more professional and highlights all the red flags with the transaction. Chair, you notice that on the 29th of May, there's a letter on an investment opportunity about 47 billion, where Nico is asking for a discount of 10 to 12%. And on 12th June, Nico wrote the pension trust fund to get quotations, which is a very good recommendation. Then they get 2 quotations for the valuation of the property and 1 valuation for the business property. The same issues that we raised yesterday, which is what a professional should do. Because pension fund is not only buying the structure as a hotel, as we were saying yesterday, they are also buying a business which is in the structure. And that's exactly what Nico did. On the 10th of July, the valuation, Nico writes FDH to do the valuation of the hotel. On the 19th September 2023, there is an offer letter to Cedar Capital. And on the 27th of September, Chair, Nico writes Cedar Capital, reminding them that they are looking forward to complete the transaction. On the 27th, same day, 27th September 2023, Cedar Capital writes back to Nico, refusing the discount that Nico was asking. Chair, on the 30th October, proceeding with the transaction, Nico decided to appoint a lawyer to do the sale agreement. Night and Night as a company is identified. They wrote to pension fund on the same day and they got approval. On the 7th of November, pensions funds writes to Nico approval to engage WTM Chirwa and Associates to undertake structure assessment. They paid an amount of 21 million. 061.875. On 10th November, Cedar Capital writes to Nico about a price increment due to the 44% devaluation. So they wanted to move from 47 billion to 61 billion. So there is a mention that the transaction was actually approved. So there was an agreement that transaction was approved on the 15th September. That letter mentions that. Then, Chair, on the 13th of November, Nico writes Public Service Pension Trust Fund about the price adjustment since the negotiations were between the pension fund and YIL Investment. On the 20th November, Nico writes Pensions Trust Fund about the price adjustment, in which there is a very key element. They said that in Nico Asset Management view, the price should not change. And they give a few reasons. One of the key reasons that they gave in that particular one, Chair, is that there is an issue about a single asset concentration. So any adjustment by 30% affects that. Therefore, if there is a price adjustment in the sale, then the sale must not proceed. On the 5th December 2023, Pensions Trust Fund writes Nico about the price adjustment, agreeing with them that indeed if the price should move beyond 47 billion, it will affect the very same single asset concentration. Now, as this is happening, Chair, on the 19th of December, Nico writes to Public Service Pensions Trust Fund that they are withdrawing. There's just that sudden change. We are no longer interested. They are now giving the reason why they are not interested on the 23rd of January. That they didn't receive due diligence, all those things, Chair. I think there is a deeper reason other than just that why Nico would start the transaction, which was approved on the 15th of September, and then suddenly on the 19th of December, they are saying we are withdrawing, we don't want to be part of. I am suspecting there must have been some external pressure that Nico as a profession didn't want to be associated with. You will confirm that, Chair, because when we go to the 4th of June, 2024, Nico writes Pensions Trust Fund on the way forward about the 85 billion, 85 million, which they had already committed and paid, and now they confirm to say, fine, it's okay. We as a professional are willing to let that amount of money go because they are trying to protect their reputation. That's what professionals do, Chair. Now, on the 19th of June, 2025, the Public Service Pension Trust Fund writes again to Nico to appoint them chair, and they refused on the 21st of July, 2025. The refusal is because they know there is a certain amount of pressure that they are not willing to. So my question, Chair, they can't just be, they are professionals, they can't be just be a sudden change of decision. Nico Asset, can you tell this committee exactly what transpired that made you to just make that instant decision to say we are no longer proceeding? That even after some more months in 2025 when you were engaged, you still refused to undertake. Thank you, Chair.
Controlling Officer, kindly take that one from Blantyre, Chiromoni, Kabula, and Choli constituency. Your time, Controlling Officer.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, Blantyre, Kabula, Chilomoni, and the other places.
It's Blantyre, Chilomoni, Blantyre City, Chilomoni, Kabula, Nancholi constituency.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, you did ask me a question just before this one. Let me ask my colleague if she remembers what the question was. Okay, the question was what really motivated the withdrawal? I think it's a similar question. So Chair, allow me to say again what I said at the beginning, that Nico is a very, very big entity.
Our controlling officer, there is a hand from Chikwawa West. Chikwawa West, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Your question was what motivated them to pay 85 million, not to withdraw. I think it should be a different question. Because what motivated you to pay back the 85 million? It's a substantial amount, 85 million. You have been working on something and then you decide to say, it's okay, I will pay that money, it's fine, let us lose this 85 million. 85 million is a substantial amount. So maybe that, I just wanted to clarify that the question was like that. Thank you.
Controlling officer, if you convert that in dollars, it's a lot of money. Even if you leave it in Malawian kwacha terms, it's a lot of money. Can you come out just very clear on those two things? Is there anything that you feel you can disclose to the committee? Thank you, Controlling Officer.
Thank you, Chair, and Blantyre Kabula, and I think the other one was Chikwawa West. So maybe let me still tackle the one from Blantyre Kabula and then finish with this one because they are related in a way in terms of the motivation. I must retaliate what I said at the beginning, that the Nico group is a very, very big financial services group. And it has a long history. And it takes national service very, very seriously, such that an investment decision passes through massive and extensive scrutiny. And it passes a number of stages of scrutiny. And to achieve efficiency and speed, because we are serving clients, if a decision within our governance structures will take a month or 2 months, and yet the client wants an indication of what might happen, you can give interim decisions to say, in general, we believe we should proceed subject to 1, 2, 3. And when you get to step number 2, step number 3, you can either confirm your earlier interim decision or change it. I think that is the benefit of having a big group with extensive expertise, because it means an investment decision receives input from various experts at different stages of the transaction and at different levels. Meaning that what starts in one shape or form might not finish in exactly the same shape or form. It might change because it has received a lot of input. What I'm trying to say here is that this transaction was a large transaction. 47 billion by any standard is a lot of money. And it needed to pass various stages. So within Nico Asset Managers as a single company, the head of investment planning will have his input, the head of investments will have his input, the legal advisor will have her input. As a CEO, I will have my own input. But beyond me, there are many, many stages. There's the board of Nico Asset Managers itself, which will rely on an investment committee. And beyond that, it will now go to Nico Group. And in the Nico Group, there will be Group Investment Committee, there will be Group Credit Committee, there will be so many things, such that by the time it comes out to a stage where you can sign a sale and purchase agreement, a lot of input has gone in. So it is through the governance process where, although at Nico Asset Managers level, at management level, the issue of a hotel company had been raised, but later on at group level and borrowing from the experience of the hotel that we are building at the golf course, the need for a hotel expert to be present at the earliest opportunity in the transaction was heavily highlighted. And one might say, what caused the change of heart? It's not really the change of heart, but it's really how close are you now to the finishing line? if you are in a process where a sale and purchase agreement can be signed, it might look like a sudden change of heart in the documents, because what's missing in the document are the meetings that happened in between, are the conversations that happened in between, are the additional due diligence processes that happened before the 19th of December. So it looks sudden, but it's not sudden. This was a conversation that we were having. And if you look at that letter of 19th December, let me just go back to it. Second paragraph. You will recall that during the last investment committee meeting, we advised that our internal governance structures were reviewing the transaction. That shows that there was an ongoing conversation between us and our client, and we had informed them that this transaction is still being scrutinized and a final decision will be communicated. And so when our client received this letter, it was not a sudden change of heart. They knew that the transaction was still being reviewed and that a final position at Nico group level would be communicated. So I would like to clarify the question from Blantyre Kabula that it's not as sudden as it looks in the pack. There was ongoing conversation. The question is, but why? Mr. Chairman, when you manage a financial services group as large as Nico, the dynamics are very, very diverse. You look at so many things. Even if you look at the recommendation that we gave to our client, we said these are the reasons to consider. And although that's just a summary, but there's about 10 reasons. You need to consider liquidity. You need to consider single asset concentration. You need to consider your exit strategy. Maybe some of the things are not here, but anyone that's making a large investment on behalf of the people, you need to consider many things. You need to consider your reputation. What if you buy a hotel and 2 years later it's closed because no one is operating it? Nico's stature would not be as respected as it is now. So Chair, I think the reason that we've given of how this hotel would be operated successfully after purchase was a key reason. And the change of heart was not sudden. It was gradual. There was a lot of conversation. What motivated Nico to even refund 85 million? Our job as an investment manager is to make sure that our clients receive positive financial return. Their money must be growing in our hands. At any point in time, we should be able to demonstrate to them that you gave us 1 billion, it's now 2 billion, it's now 3 billion. Such that if we take out 85 million from them, it's not good news to us. So we want to be able to say, you've not lost a coin because of us. And for that reason, we are willing to carry the cost so that you as our client should be as happy as possible. So it's client service that motivated us to pay back 85 million. It's a big amount of money, but if you consider on cost-benefit analysis, this is a cost that we're willing to take to protect the public, to protect our client. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. Supplementary question from Blantyre Kabula. After Blantyre Kabula, we'll go to Chikwawa West. Chikwawa West, I see a hand from Lirongwe Chirobwe. After Lirongwe Chirobwe, we'll go to Chitipa Central. In that order, please. So, Controlling Officer, we'll take that round, so you respond to all the 4 questions.
Mine, Chair, having reached this far, is not a question per se, but from his comment, there are good takeaways. Number one, them being experienced, being in the hotel business, or they're investing in hotel business. One I know is Lilongo Golf Club. It's a massive investment. They say, and I quote, investment decisions of that amount must pass through scrutiny to achieve efficiency. So there are various stages. A value of 47 billion is a large transaction, Chair. Can you imagine a value of 128 billion? Thank you. So that's what professionals do. That's what we should take. Their red flags are there. They're putting it right away and say, even in an event that as a company, we are willing to let go 85 million kwacha because we want to protect our reputation. Secondly, they are refusing on their letter on the 21st of July 2025, saying our position has not changed. In other words, they made a proper recommendation to pensions, public service pensions trust fund, that this is a very bad investment. I submit, Chair.
Chikwawa West, thank you so much, Blunt Kabula, for the compliments. I think this is the way to go.
Thank you very much, Chair. As my colleague read the dates that the processes that took place, it still looks like the Public Service Pension Trust Fund trusted you, because even after you told them that you have withdrawn, they still had to come back and say, we still want you to assist us. I think that's how I've heard the story. They trusted you. Now, at that time, the property was around 47 billion, as you have said, and you were also asking for a discount on the same. We are sitting here doing this public inquiry because we are talking about that the same 47 billion in around 2023 that you are mentioning, it has come up now to 128 billion. And we understand that most of the processes took place, maybe using other companies, which the pension fund, they were maybe forced to go and work with them. When you read in the social media and the public outcry that is happening at the moment, do you regret that you withdrew? Maybe it's like you let down your customer who really trusted you that you would help them. That at that point they could have purchased the same item at 47 billion, but now they had to change and then pay more. Now that the value of the asset, we are told it's at 128 billion. When you read this and when you hear what has transpired at the moment, as Nico, don't you think maybe that you betrayed your own customer, or you had to let them down as an investment manager for pension, and that if at that point you had helped them to procure it at 47 billion, by now we shouldn't have been in this room talking about this investment. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Chikwawa West. Lilongwe Chirobwe.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I would like to ask Mr. Controlling Officer, why did you hire FDH Bank? How did you come to FDH? How did you hire them to do the business valuation? Thank you.
Thank you, Lilongwe Chirobwe. Chitipa Central.
Thank you, Chair. What the Nico asset managers are saying sounds to be too good to be true. I think that the reason why Blantyre City Natural is worried that there may be some pressure behind the decision. And it must be noted, Chair, that Nico did not volunteer to pay the 85 million to the service providers. I'm looking at their rate on 21st July 2025, paragraph 1/2. No, the last paragraph, which is saying, as you are aware, the fund advised through its letter dated 12th February 2024 that due to NAM's withdrawal from the transaction or costs associated thereon be borne by NAM. So it's like they were given a condition that if you withdraw, you will pay. And NAM did not want to contest. I believe the council, the ALECO team, should have advised why they shouldn't contest this advice. There must be, they simply didn't allow to say, we are paying back. They discussed and made a illustration to say why we shouldn't pay back. I think that's the reason why we are worried to think that there was pressure behind that. And when they were reappointed, they did not consider to give them condition to say, if we are coming back, you need to consider A, B, C, D for us to come back. This is business. They did not consider that. Instead, their answer was definitely no, based on the previous reasons. So the people of Chitipa Central would like to join Blantyre City naturally on the worry that there were pressure behind the decisions made. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chitipa Central Controlling Officer.
Thank you very much. I think from Blantyre Kabula, it was really a comment to say, if you are saying 47 billion is a large amount of money, what about 128 billion? And I think the answer is obvious. Because I am aware, Chair, that what you're probing is above the 47 that we are talking now. It's a bigger amount, although that was way after our engagement. But to say that 128 is bigger than 47, I think it's true. But I will leave it there. Chikwa West, do we regret that we let down our client? Because if we had closed the transaction at 47 billion, then there would be no 128 billion. Look, we are all wiser in hindsight. We are all wiser in hindsight, where we now have the benefit of new information. But in the critical moment, when you're making a decision, you don't have the information that will come later. So I still would like to answer your question with another question. Would you rather buy something at 47 and fail to run it? Simply because it was cheaper? Or would you rather insist that even at 47, you must do the right thing? So maybe we don't regret our decision. We probably are amazed at the things that happened after our decision. But we are professionals. We stick to professional information. And everything beyond 47 billion is public information on which we cannot express a professional opinion on. Do we regret? No, I don't think we regret. We stand by our decision, and that's why we repeated this decision in July 2025. Lilongwe Chilobwe, how did you arrive at FDH? So the pack here, honorable members, is a selection of key documents, but it's not all the documents. So before selecting FDH Bank, we did an invitation to so many other players that do valuations. And we received at least 3 submissions from a number of professional firms. And FDH was one that was selected through that recruitment process. So we've just included FDH here because they are the ones who are in the public domain, having worked on this transaction. But the process was not just a single sourcing. it was a proper open tender, and a number of firms submitted, and FDH was selected. Chitipa Central, I think there were two questions. The first one was there must have been pressure. To be honest, this was our professional decision that was considered extensively by many professionals in the Nico group. I believe I would like to make an invitation to all the honorable members to study the Nico group and just see how many companies are there, how many professionals are there, what kind of work we do, what kind of balance sheet size we manage. Nico Asset Managers only manages at least 5 trillion of people's money. And Nico Asset Managers is one of the small companies in the Nico group. There are other companies that their balance sheets are also in trillions. And you need an army of professionals to manage that size of business. Do we work under pressure all the time? So maybe that's the pressure that you're referring to. The pressure to be of highest integrity, the pressure to be professional, the pressure to be of national service, and the pressure to do a good job. I can confirm that we do have that kind of pressure all the time. And our decisions are made in a pressured environment. But any other pressure beyond the pressure that we give to ourselves to do the right thing? No. There is no other external pressure other than our internal pressure to make sure that the work we do can be looked at 30 years from now, and people 30 years from now will still say, we made the right decision. That is a lot of pressure. Payback. Did you volunteer? No, we didn't volunteer. That's why all these documents are in this pack, to tell the truth. There was conversation. And our client suggested that if we proceed on this path, you will pay back. And we wanted to demonstrate that we are serious about our decision by actually paying back. We could have contested this paying back, because remember, some of the agreements were between the service providers directly with our client. If you look at documentation between night and night, it was between our night and night directly with our client. But even that, we were willing to take it up, to demonstrate that at certain points, there's a price for integrity. At certain points, there's a price for professionalism. And at certain points, there's a price for doing your best. And for us, we were willing to pay this price. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. I see Lero Ngwempeno.
Yeah, Chair, through you, one cannot help but appreciate the professional approach Nico Asset Managers took to the whole transaction. Yes, I know that we could see a few gaps which would be cleared like they have done. But then when you go through the timeline and you go through the submission, you only see one thing, that Nico Asset Managers were very professional to in how they handled the whole transaction and their withdrawal. And the fact that they could reject re-engagement, to me, that is a big sign that these people were serious and that they had done their assessment professionally, and I only wish they had come before the engagement with the valuer yesterday, because EMJ, because in their submission, you are having some questions that should have been posed to the other, but I think that would be subject for another day. But my intervention is just to appreciate how professional they have been, and this is actually informing our next steps in terms of engagement with other stakeholders. I submit, Chairperson.
Controlling officer, maybe before that, I see Zomba City North. What are members, this side? Kirazulu Nyungwe.
Thank you, Chair. I want to appreciate the brilliant presentation and the way the controlling officer is taking our questions. We're definitely building a better case. But I wanted to know, as a brilliant man, in your own opinion, who do you think benefits the most from the sale of Amaryllis at a whooping 128 billion Malawi kwacha? Is it the seller, use of investments? Is it the pensioners? Or is it the people that are managing the fund itself? Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Controlling officer, can you take that one?
Mr. Chairman, I'm representing a very big brand, which is Nico Group, and I'm speaking to Parliament, representing all the people of Malawi, and we're speaking in the public domain. The question obviously is to me as a person, and I don't know whether this would be the right place to answer a personal opinion question. So, Chair, it is very, very difficult to express a professional opinion that doesn't represent only me, but represents the business that I work for, and that would require a proper, full information. The question is, who do you think benefits the most? I think it depends on the information that you have. If you look at our letter of 19th December 2023 and our January letter, which you've already seen, there's only one person there that we are protecting jealously, and that is the contributors or members of the fund. And we look at that one only. Whether the seller wins or loses, whether somebody else wins or loses, that would really not be the interest that we are protecting. The interest that we are protecting would be the owners of the money. We manage people's money. When we talk about 5 trillion assets under management, it is not our money. It is the money that belongs to the people. And it is their interest only that we protect jealously. I will not be able to answer at 128 billion, but I can take you back to 48 billion. At 48 billion, at that time, we believed that our members were not getting the best interest in proceeding with the transaction. It would not matter whether somebody else was also winning or losing. It would only matter to us if our client was getting the best deal. And at 47, our opinion is that our client, who was representing members, representing people's futures and representing people's families and representing so many aspirations, we at 47 billion at the time, we could have gotten a better deal if the deal was structured differently. And I believe you can use that information, MPUNGWE, to answer the rest of the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. But you are the asset manager for pension fund. Do you realize that we are in this mess because you were involved from the word go to the extent that as an asset manager, you wrote to the seller, offering him that the fund that you are managing is willing to buy Amaris at 47 billion. And as professionals, you went on to suggest a discount. Now, I want to take you to the submission that you've brought to Parliament. Your letter dated 19th September 2023, which is just a few pages before the letter of the withdrawal. So, allow me to take it. That's September 19th, 2023. Cedar Capital Limited, PO Box 3340 Blantyre. Attention, Mr. Armstrong Kampondi. Dear sir, reference, offer letter, Amaris Hotel Equity transaction. We refer to the above subject matter and your letter dated 2nd May 2023. We are writing on behalf of our client, the Public Service Pension Trust Fund, PSPTF, to accept your offer to acquire 100% stake in Amaris Hotel Limited as follows. 1. Purchaser, the Public Service Trust Fund. 2. The price. Our client accepts your indicative price of 47 billion as a price cap. However, our client requests you to consider applying a discount of between 10% to 12% to the price because you have suggested in your offer letter the benefits of a wet hotel will only be realized after transaction. As a result of the post-transaction effort which our client will have to make, please note that this is not a counter offer, but rather a proposal to enter into a structured negotiation with yourselves. We are open to your suggestions on the negotiation process and welcome your input on how we can proceed efficiently. Now you've raised expectation of a seller to a certain point. And now he's looking forward to having money in his or her account as an asset manager. Then when the expectations are too high, you decide to step aside and watch from a distance the pensioners' money being, exposed to such a risk. And today, Controlling Officer, you're telling this committee that your interest is to control and protect the interest of the same pensioner that your institution nurtured the transaction in its infancy. And in its maturation, Nico decided to withdraw. Can you come out very clear, Your Honor, the Controlling Officer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you started your question with, do you realize that we are in this mess because of your involvement and maybe withdrawal? And when you say this mess, I assume that it's the things that are being discussed in the public media. The amount that has been paid or is alleged to have been paid and all that. That's what you're referring to as a mess. I would like to say we believe that we gave sound advice. By the time we exited, we gave sound advice. We even refunded expenses in card, such that our client was at zero loss. And if the thing was stopped there, what you are calling mess maybe would not even exist. So it looks like you give good advice, which we believe is good advice, but so I advise my child this way, but that way is not taken. They take a different way, but I'm still responsible for the way that they took, which I did not advise. It's easy to, I think it's possible to disown consequences of advice that was not taken. So I would like to suggest that it's not because of us that we are where we are now. Part B is, but you had shown an indication that this can proceed. So like I said, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Chair, these transactions are complex in nature, and they have got many moving parts. And sometimes you move 3 or 4 parts at the same time. And that's why your communication is always, this is subject to these other things. You should always give that caveat, that it's a yes for now, but subject to. And if you see that letter, it has got so many caveats. And item number 3, timing and contingencies, it was clear to say it's a yes, but subject to these things being in place. Our client contracting relevant services, and this would include the operator of the hotel or expert advice. Number 5, structural integrity. It had not been done at this stage. So yes, we are proceeding, we're accepting your offer, but subject to structural integrity. If an engineer comes and he says the construction is not of sound integrity, we will not proceed. Policy limitations. Our client has got various policies that they must look at before they sign on the dotted line. And if those policies prevent this transaction from proceeding, we will not proceed. So it is a letter full of caveats, such that by the time we arrive at 19 December, where we're saying let's not proceed, if we stop right there, there will be no loss of even 1 coin. And so I would like to limit our comments to the point at which we exited the transaction. There was no mess, there was no loss, and there was no negativity whatsoever. If we stop it at that point, the rest of the questions will answer themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Controlling Officer, for that response. But just for your noting, when we had an interface with Malawi Law Society, there were a few disclosures, one of which was different lawyers advising the board that to walk away having offered that letter. There was 80% chance that pension fund is going to win the case. Another one said only 20% they're going to lose it, or the opposite. Meaning that at a certain level, because of this offer, the seller, he walked around with it thinking that he had stopped engaging others would be buyers, that no, we already have someone, because he, the seller felt that if he is going to engage someone, he may also be dragged to court for legitimacy that had not been honored. So it's just for noting. Honored members. I see a hand from Blanta Chiromoni Nancholi Kabula constituency.
I am aware that them being a very big group cannot come out straight to say there were some red flags, but there have been several allegations to say some of the red flags that would make a professional organization like yours would be the fact that the seller all the time was trying to insist on providing the sale agreement. Was that the case with the Nico asset managers as well? Did it happen to you or it happened? Elsewhere, that's exactly what happened. Because the current 128 million sale agreement, the sale agreement actually came from the seller and not the buyer. Was that also the situation with you? And maybe that's one of the reasons why you decided to pull out. Thank you, Chair.
Controlling officer, can you take that one from Blanta Kabula?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Blanta Kabula. No, that was not the case with us. Like I have disclosed already and in the documents, the legal counsel that was working on the draft sale agreement was Night and Night. That was recruited by the buyer, but with our full facilitation. Everything was done by us, such that when we were refunding costs, the largest cost that was refunded at 50 million was legal expenses to Night and Night, because the sale agreement was being drafted on the buyer's side. Mr. Chairman, maybe indulge me 1 minute just to explain why that was important.
Please proceed.
Okay. I believe that this clarification would be important to members of the committee. Although we are talking about sale of Amaryllis Hotel, legally Amaryllis Hotel does not exist. It is a property that is owned by a company called Yusuf Investments Limited. And yet the transaction that was being envisaged here was just Amaryllis Hotel. It meant that we needed a very, very meticulous lawyer to untangle this property called Amaryllis from Yusuf Investments Limited and just take the piece you want and leave everything else behind. And that process legally is an extensive process. We wanted to make sure that this transaction will not end up in some unforeseen liabilities to our client. So, for example, what will happen to the members of staff and their accrued benefits? Does that transfer to our client, or does it stay with Yusuf Investments? What about tax liabilities? If the property has got tax obligations to MRA, how does that stay with the seller and not move to the buyer? And many other things that the lawyer needed to look at. So if you look at the terms of reference that were given to the legal expert by ourselves as an advisor to our client, it was very, very extensive work, and you might be surprised why maybe the fees are at the level that they are. It was going to be extensive work all risks were supposed to be managed properly. All liabilities were supposed to be managed properly. And we could not leave that work to the seller. That work had to be handled meticulously by us to make sure that even 10 years later, our client does not end up with some residual risk which would not have been foreseen at the time of the transaction. Again, it's a long answer to a short question, but the issue is no. It was on our side, and there was no pressure whatsoever from the seller to get the draft agreement done, because we needed a proper document that deals with all possible risks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. I would like to appreciate for the information that you've given to this committee. Professional undertones were all over. I would like to ask you, as a committee, much as you are an asset manager, you've lamented that you have a lot of experts within, looking at that teacher who is in Chena teaching and thinking that his or her passion is intact. That doctor who has just saved this morning someone who was on the verge of dying. Looking at interest of all those, in your wisdom, would you give us a few experts to help us have a better position of this inquiry in terms of expertise, valuation, all those things on pro bono basis? Because you've already respected your position that as an institution, you've managed to retain almost 85 million, which is a substantial amount. You just need an expertise for few days on you. Is that too big to ask? Or you consider that one when you meet colleagues elsewhere? I just wanted you to come out clear, because I think honored members here have enjoyed your presentation, and they see patriotism in what you've submitted as Nico. Can you take that one? Maybe before you take that one, Controlling Officer, there's Blunt Chiromone again. Yes?
Chair, just as you answer the chairs, I just want to find out from you. I've never done transactions of that magnitude. If you are dealing, but you have, if you are buying on behalf of whoever is investing with you in a property over 1-2 billion, whose responsibility to do the sale agreement? Is it yours or the seller's? What has been your best practice? I just want your professional advice on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blunt Chiromoni Nancholi. Controlling Officer.
I think through your chair, the question that you asked, whether we would be willing. I think Nico is always willing. When you look at what we do in Malawi as a corporate citizen that's responsible, if you look at the amount of money we've invested in football, netball, and many things, anything that is of national interest that serves the nation, we would be very happy to lend a hand. In this particular transaction, there will be a number of things that would be considered. So, for example, if I am coming there personally, then I have to consider conflict of interest, because on the other side, there could be competitors, could be my client, could be all those people. So maybe it's better for Nico to pay for independent expertise to help your committee. I'm just thinking on my feet now. But what I'm trying to say, I think if Nico is being approached to help the country to get the best work done, I think it will be looked at positively, because that's our nature, that's what we've always done. it depends on the request. But Mr. Chairman, please know that Nico will always stand by you. If there's a requirement for us to hold your hand. I think I'm speaking like but I think you hear me. Nico will be happy, but it's the how to make sure that all aspects of the request have been considered. I would like Memory, who's our legal counsel, to take the question from Blantyre Kabula.
Through you, Honorable Chairman, Blantyre Kabula, there is no hard and fast rule in terms of who will prepare such transaction documentation where you have a sale transaction. Normally, practice, you have the buyer taking the lead, but depending on who your parties are, you can agree as parties and you could have the seller leading the process in terms of documentation. But the key is there is no hard and fast rule as to who must lead that process. Thank you, Chair.
Supplementary, so what has been your practice?
Blantyre Kabula, chill, relax. Controlling officer?
Thank you very much. So we've done a number of transactions involving property, and it's usually us, if we are on the buying side, will handle the transactions. So that's normal. That's the normal practice. I think the reasons are because the seller is offloading this asset, and the buyer is now acquiring the asset plus associated risks. You want to make sure that all the risks associated with the transaction are properly hedged and managed. So in our case, many times, when we are on the buying side, we would handle drafting or sale agreements to make sure that we're fully protected. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Blantyre Kabula, you wanted to provide a supplementary, or you're done?
Actually, I had already provided supplementary. That's what they are responding. The second part, I had already asked. The second part of the question was what has been their practice. So they just responded here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Controlling officer, on behalf of the committee, I would like to appreciate that you came. And as we wind up, I would like to ask you to give the committee your closing remarks for today. Over to you, controlling officer.
Thank you very much, Chair and all honorable members. We thank you for the opportunity to address your committee. And we realize that you represent the people of Malawi, like Mr. Chairman, you like to say the people of the great nation of Malawi. And we realize that we are even now speaking directly to them. So it's been a humbling experience that through your committee we could address the nation directly. We would like to just repeat that we are very proud of the work that we've been entrusted by the people of Malawi to do, and we do it with the utmost commitment. And we are proud to be a big player in the nation, in the process of nation building, and we will continue to do the same. And if there is anything that we can do, please feel free to always reach out to us, and we will always be proud to be of service to you and the nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, controlling officer. Let me appreciate once again your coming, and above all for the integrity and in the manner that you've conducted yourself. It actually shows who you are to this great nation. So I'd like to appreciate and would like also to accept that you are available in the event that we feel that you can hold our hand, but we'll will respect your position, because it's an element, or it hinges on professionalism, that you may not come directly to this as you strive to protect even other competitors who are in the same industry. But in the event that Parliament has decided maybe to get expertise elsewhere, you're willing maybe to help so that you remain professional in your discharge of your key roles. Would like to appreciate. In the event that we want to get more information from you as Parliament, we request that formally through our Secretariat. Be assured that we're here just to serve citizens, and we'll do that without being twisted by anyone. And in this room, you have players from all political parties, and there is no political party involved in whatever we are doing. We're just doing this as Malawians. And as a Public Accounts Committee, we're not being pushed by anyone else, and no leader of any political party is involved in this thing. And we would like to play that wherever they are, they must not interfere with this up until we do the job that the Constitution gave us. With these remarks, I would like to wish you well as you travel back, and enjoy your day. You may leave, Controlling Officer, at your pleasure. Controlling Officer, there's tea outside. I would like to invite you to tea, paid for by Parliament. You can enjoy that one. You can leave at your pleasure.
Yeah, this is lunchtime.
Welcome to MPUNGWE-PUNGWE YouTube channel. Subscribe for you to enjoy more of our videos anytime we upload.